Hey guys, welcome to Film World. Today I'm going to explain a mystery thriller film called Don't Worry Darling from 2022. Turn on subtitles and spoilers ahead. The movie begins in the 1950s, near the Californian desert, in a company town called Victory, where families live perfect lives. Every morning, the husbands work at Victory headquarters outside the town, while the wives stay home, manage the house, and practice ballet with their teacher, Shelley. The wives cannot ask about their husbands' jobs or visit the headquarters. Alice and Jack are a happy couple who love hosting parties for their neighbors, including Alice's best friend, Bunny, and her husband. Alice hums her favorite song while doing chores. Occasionally, the town shakes, and Alice wonders if it's related to Victory's work, but Jack won't answer, and she drops the subject. One afternoon, after ballet, Bunny and Alice see men in red jumpsuits helping the new neighbor move in. They chat about Margaret, who's become an outcast after a mysterious event. Later, Alice sees Margaret in her garden, holding a toy plane and having a strange vision. Alice is confused but ignores it. While making dinner, Alice finds all the eggs in her carton empty but forgets about it when her dinner starts burning. A few days later, at a pool party at Shelley's house, Alice is humming her favorite song when Bunny asks her to stop because she is tired of hearing it. Alice realizes she does not know the song's name, but it is always in her head. Strange images flash before her eyes, but she forgets them when Bunny distracts her. During the party, Shelley and her husband Frank, the CEO of Victory, interrupt to give a speech, welcoming new neighbors. Margaret disrupts the speech, questioning why they are there. Her husband takes her away, creating an awkward atmosphere. Frank then reassures everyone that they are building a safe and orderly town. Later, Alice finds Margaret at home, where her husband is giving her medicine. Margaret tries to tell Alice she is not okay and is being hidden, but her husband shuts the door on Alice. Alice returns to the party and finds Jack in Frank's room. To her shock, Jack starts getting intimate with her, and Frank watches oddly but leaves without saying anything. Alice does not tell Jack about it. The next day, while shopping, Alice and her friends discuss Margaret's odd behavior since an accident. Bunny clarifies that it was not an accident. Margaret broke the only rule by taking her child into the desert after seeing something, likely a hallucination. They found Margaret alone with her son's toy plane, and the child was never found. Margaret claims they took him away as punishment. The conversation is interrupted by a ground shake, but the women do not react as they are used to it. One woman wonders if the men are making weapons, but Bunny angrily tells her that wives should only support their husbands and not ask questions. That night, Alice has strange dreams and cannot stop thinking about them. The next day, she takes the trolley to get fresh air but stays on to view the desert. The driver finds this odd. Alice sees a plane, like Margaret's toy, crash in the desert. Curious and concerned, she tries to investigate, but the driver refuses to take her further. Alice disobeys and walks into the desert, finding a hill with a spiral road. She climbs it and discovers a mysterious dome. As she touches the glass, disturbing images flash before her eyes, and she hears Frank's voice talking about leaving chaos behind. Alice wakes up in bed, confused and scared. In the kitchen, she finds Jack cooking and learns she came back somehow, but cannot remember how. Alice tells Jack about the plane crash, but he says it did not happen. Upset, Alice thinks it was a bad dream, and Jack tries to comfort her. The next day, while cleaning windows, Alice experiences a hallucination where the wall moves and presses her against the glass. The phone rings with Margaret asking if Alice saw anything, claiming they are being lied to and should leave. Alice hangs up, feeling overwhelmed. During ballet class, Alice sees her reflection turn into Margaret. Margaret starts hitting her head on the glass, causing Alice to panic. When Alice rushes home, she sees Margaret on the roof. Alice begs her to stop, but Margaret ignores her and ends her life. The men in red appear and drag Alice away before she can reach Margaret. That evening, Alice tries to talk to Jack about what happened, but he does not believe her because Margaret's husband says it was just an accident. Alice gets frustrated, demanding the truth and asking Jack about his job, but he loses his temper and tells her to drop it to avoid ruining their life. He leaves for the night. Alice, disturbed and unable to sleep, watches TV and experiences a new hallucination of drowning in a pool. The next morning, her hands uncontrollably wrap part of her body while she's handling leftovers. She realizes she is losing her grip on reality. Later, Jack brings Dr. Collins, who thinks Alice's issues are due to stress from Margaret's fall. Collins suggests it is a grief-related distortion of reality and prescribes medicine, but both Jack and Alice refuse it. Alice notices Dr. Collins has classified files about Margaret and asks him what happened. Collins explains Margaret had outbursts and paranoia, leading to her husband's firing and Margaret being sent for help. After Collins leaves and forgets his briefcase, Alice grabs it to search for clues but is caught when Collins returns. She pretends she was returning the briefcase, and he believes her. Once Collins is gone, Alice finds the files are blacked out, so she burns them and drinks whiskey while thinking about Margaret. In the bath, she sees disturbing images and sweet moments of a couple. She snaps out of it when Jack comes home and asks if they should have a baby, to which Alice agrees to think about it. Later, they attend a fancy party hosted by Frank, who watches Alice closely while talking to Collins. Alice gets nervous, especially when a dancer performs, reminding her of her visions. As tears start to fall, Alice asks Jack to take her home, but Jack ignores her because Frank is going on stage to make a big announcement. To everyone's surprise, Frank calls Jack up to join him and announces that Jack is getting a promotion. Everyone starts celebrating, but this makes Alice completely break down, and she runs to the bathroom, where she sees the vision of the couple again. Bunny suddenly comes to check on her, and Alice tries to explain what is going on, but Bunny interrupts her, scolding her for breaking the rules. Bunny thinks Alice is acting like a child and trying to ruin her husband's big night, so she tells Alice to pull herself together and be a good wife. Alice has no choice but to go back to their routine and try to forget everything. A few days later, Jack hosts a dinner party at their house, and Frank and Shelley are also there. While Alice is busy cooking, Frank comes over and tells her that she fascinates him. He says he's always wanted someone to challenge him because he believes great men can only change history if they are pushed. So he hopes Alice will continue to challenge him in the future. During dinner, Alice decides to sit at the head of the table instead of letting Jack have that spot, because she wants to look directly at Frank while they eat. When the usual small talk starts, Alice interrupts to ask the guests about their lives before coming to the town, and points out how the same few stories keep repeating among all the neighbors. She's told to remember these stories because they want them to forget the real ones, like what happened to Margaret. Jack tries to stop Alice, but Frank tells her to continue. Alice rants about Frank's lies and how he's creating a fake world. Frank calmly accuses Alice of having mental issues like Margaret and being in his bedroom, making everyone uncomfortable. Shelley gets upset and leaves, followed by the other guests. Frank tells Alice he expected more from her before leaving. Alice, furious, accuses Jack of thinking she is ruining his big night. She insists they need to leave before their relationship is destroyed. Jack agrees to run away, and Alice starts packing. Jack suddenly apologizes, and Alice is confused until the men in red arrive to drag her away. Jack cries as he hears her cries for help. Alice is taken for electroshock therapy and starts seeing visions of her and Jack in modern times. Jack has lost his job, but Alice, working as a doctor, is okay with it. Working double shifts exhausts her, and Jack's lack of dinner and anger about her tiredness worsen things. Jack ends up listening to Frank's podcast about finding oneself away from society. Later, Alice wakes up again in the hospital in Victory. Dr. Collins tells her she has been fixed, so Alice is sent back to the town, where she goes back to her old routine as if nothing had happened. Days go by peacefully until one evening when Jack comes home from work, singing that annoying song again. It turns out that the Jack from her visions is real, and he's signed up for the Victory Project, which lets him live a perfect life. He has access to a special machine that he keeps at home, and Alice is connected to it all the time because her life in Victory is just a simulation. This is the case for all the wives, and like the other men, Jack connects to it every day for a few hours and disconnects when he goes to the headquarters in the desert. The rest of the time, he takes care of Alice's real body and works a low-paying job to pay for the machine. In Victory, Alice collapses in pain from disturbing images. Jack defensively claims he created the simulation to give them a perfect life because they were unhappy. Alice is upset that he took away her freedom and tried to make her feel crazy. She also worries about the other wives and children, but Jack explains that the children are not real. They are part of the simulation. Jack begs for forgiveness and clings to Alice, making it hard for her to breathe. Fed up, Alice hits him with a glass, knocking him out. She does not know that dying in Victory also means dying in real life. As Jack dies, Frank gets a call informing him of the incident. Bunny arrives, covers Jack's body, and calms Alice. She reveals she knows about the simulation and chose it to get her kids back. Bunny instructs Alice to disconnect herself at the headquarters since Jack cannot do it. Alice, frightened, follows Bunny's instructions. Neighbors notice something wrong as streetlights explode, and the men focus on stopping Alice. Bunny pushes them aside, allowing Alice to escape in a car before the men in red steal vehicles to chase her. Alice gets out of town but faces trouble in the desert when the men in red start attacking her car. Dr. Collins speeds up to help catch her. Alice maneuvers her car to cause a crash among Collins and others. Frank hears about Collins's death on the speakerphone, and Shelley, hearing this, stabs Frank, claiming it is her turn now. In the desert, Alice's car gets stuck on a sharp turn, so she runs up a hill, hoping the car will slow down the men in red. They follow her, forcing Alice to run faster. Reaching the dome, she hallucinates Jack and recalls their real-life moments. As the men in red close in, Alice touches the glass wall, and disturbing images mixed with real memories overwhelm her. Everything turns black, Alice gasps, and the story ends here. To watch more explanations of these kinds of movies, click on the videos on your screen, and don't forget to let me know how you feel about today's video in the comments down below. And at last, thanks for watching.